Hi, my name's Jamie Turner. I'm the founder of 60secondmarketer.com, and we are here today with Toby Bloomberg, who is the Director of Social Media Integration at Cox Media Group. Toby, glad you're here with us.
Thanks, Jamie. Nice to be here, too.
Great to see you. It's always fun to get to talk to you because I know you know so much about social media and how to develop communities. But let's start first. What is your job basically at Cox Media Group?
I have the distinct pleasure, and it really is, of working with Cox Media Group's radio, TV, and newspapers across the country. And so I'm responsible for helping them with their strategy, helping them with their tactics, and helping them step into social media and not blow up.
Cool. Well, that's great. What are some of the publications then? Because I think most people would be maybe not familiar with Cox Media Group as much as they would some of the newspapers that you guys work with.
Well, here in Atlanta, of course, it's the AJC, the Atlanta Journal, WSB TV, WSB Radio. We have properties in Palm Beach. We have properties in Seattle. We have properties in the Bay Area. But we've just purchased a property in Tulsa and Orlando. So about 70-ish, a little bit more across the country.
Wow, 70 different publications. That's or
media
radio,
outlets.
TV,
yep. Media outlets.
So it's a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the kinds of things you've learned in what you do when you help these organizations.
Okay.
And just sort of our audience is typically people who are interested in kind of rolling up their shirt sleeves and hearing experiences you've had so that they can apply it to their own businesses.
Okay. Let me start with this one. So everybody tells you that you need to know who your audience is, who your community is. And social media, obviously, not a new thing, but the power is in the share.
Ah, interesting, yeah.
So the more you can develop content around what your audience wants to see, hear, listen to, read, the more likely they are going to be to share it. So if you are putting content out and people aren't sharing it, especially in Facebook, then it's just another traditional channel.
Yeah.
And why bother? Just put an ad out.
Yep, absolutely. So the idea is make sure that you not only create content that's shareable, but also encourage people to share the content. Everybody hearing that? Are we on board with the sharing?
With the sharing.
Yes.
And the sharing has to be, the encouragement has to be subtle because Facebook just now has changed their algorithm to say, if you blatantly say share, we may not put your particular status update into a news feed. So, and you know, Facebook changes their algorithms at the drop of a hat. So you have to be careful. So if you produce relevant content that is timely, that your audience, your community wants to hear, that their friends want to know about, that's where the sharing comes in. So let me give you a little example. So we were working with one TV station, and they were doing a pretty good job, but their sharing wasn't what their competitors were doing. And so we took a look, did a little bit of analysis, went back into, this is Facebook, went into Facebook Insights. Facebook Insights is the back-end analytics program. And found out that their audience was women who were, I think, 25 to 34, and that was exactly the target that they wanted, so right on.
Wow.
So we're in good shape. But why weren't they sharing? Well, the audience really believed in family values. They were in the Midwest, and so they wanted to learn more about how to bring their family into social media, what was important to them. And when we looked at their competitors, that's exactly what they were doing. So we said, okay, you can talk about the brand, you can talk about the programming, the events that you're doing, but what about if you talk a little bit more about how to bring your audience in social things that they are interested in.
Yeah.
So since they're moms, and this was a radio station that was doing country music, we said, what about if you're finding country singer that is a new mom? That ties back into the brand. That ties back into the values of the brand.
Yeah.
And so they started to work that angle. So what I'm now telling people is you always have to have a value add when you're working with social media, but now that's the cost of entry.
Yeah.
Value add is always the cost of entry. If you don't have something valuable, people aren't going to read you, they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
But think about it in terms of brand value,
Cool.
which broadens the field a little bit. So if everything is consistent with the brand value that you bring, then you can step outside of your own brand. So for instance, when we were talking about the country singer and her children, maybe we were promoting her, maybe we weren't, but it's still in relationship to our brand value.
Wow, fascinating. I mean, there's so much information in there. I'm going to have to watch this interview myself, because you were actually the first person years ago to come to me and say, Jamie, there's this thing called social media you need to know about. And that was literally, I was like, wow, Toby knows what she's talking about. I better look into this social media thing. And we were off to the races.
Yeah.
But you started with something called Diva Marketing Blog.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit, the audience, a little bit about what were some of your experiences there that they can kind of take away from what you did in order to grow that blog as much as you did?
The backstory, as you probably know, is that I never wanted to start a blog, had no intention to do that. But a friend of mine, I was talking about blogs to small businesses, and back in those days, 2004, websites were pretty expensive, and I found this thing called a blog, and it was free. Blogger was just put up. And so I said to these small businesses, mid-sized businesses that I was teaching, I said, here, use this as a website, and by the way, it has something really cool called a comment, and people can talk back to you, and you can understand what they're talking about, and you can listen to them. And my friend Dana Vanderheuvel said, Toby, you cannot do that. I'm going to channel Alf Nussafort. Toby, you cannot do that. I said, why not, Dana? I can talk about anything as long as I understand. He said, this is different, and this is what I want to tell your audience. This is different. It's a different medium, social media is. You have to be actively involved in it in order to understand it. It's not like advertising. It's not like research, where you can read. It's not like mobile, where you can read and perhaps you understand it. You can outsource it. But to really understand social media, to get the heart of it, you have to be active in it. And so I started this blog called Diva Marketing Blog. And Jamie, within days, I had people welcoming me to the blogosphere.
Wow.
Now, when I launched my website, I don't know about you, but nobody said to me, hi, Toby, welcome to the World Wide Web.
Right.
But people welcomed me to social media. And then I began to build relationships with people. And those relationships are real relationships. I've had, work relationships that have resulted in thousands of dollars in business when I was consulting.
Excellent.
Resources, I have an international network of people that I never would have had it not been for social media.
Excellent. So two things I'm learning from that. One is, in order to to understand social media, you have to use social media. That's what one of your early lessons were. And then the other is create a community, create a network, because there's a two-way street going on there. You can not only use them as resources, but they can use you as a resource.
Exactly.
Excellent. Toby Bloomberg, thank you very much for joining us. Really, really fabulous advice. My name is Jamie Turner. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.